everyone. Hope everyone had a great and amazing Christmas. Hope you got to spend plenty of time with your family and your loved ones. I hope traders and investors alike were green on Friday. And please keep in mind that discipline is the key to your success in trading. So in this video, I want to go over 30 charts that look decent going through the main chart list. Look decent, look like decent opportunities where some money could be made. It's just too many charts to add to the video tonight. Um, since I'm doing this, I just want to take some opportunity to talk about basic price action. And I want to talk about the head and shoulders pattern a little bit. Have a couple different examples in here as well. So we got MO. This is a stock we were trading earlier in the year quite a bit. It is a slower mover. It's a great stock for it's a lower beta stock. It's a great stock for newer traders. It's a great stock for any traders. It's still they pay the bills. It's just not a huge fast mover. Uh, really nice breakout here. Breaking out, you can see it's breaking out of this little downtrend, pushing up. The birth of a new trend there looks like. Arch, another stock we traded quite a bit earlier in the year. This is another one. The liquidity can be iffy on this depending on your style of trading. If you're moving in and out faster, this may not be a stock for you. Please check the liquidity on it. You can always buy shares as well. You can see we're pushing up here. Coal stocks are turning up a little bit. MACD is trying to cross. Just a nice looking chart. BMY. BMY, we put this bear flag in, pushed up, tested to 200, pulled back. So you got a little bear flag pushing up here into your 200, pulling back. A break below these candle bodies here, I would look for a move down. Your MACD is turning lower. BTU, not as strong of a chart as Arch right now. Just another coal stock. MACD is changing character. I'm bullish above the 20. Another one need to check the liquidity on. CPE, this is the foot. I posted this chart a couple of days ago. It's just simple. You got a leg coming down into a heel. That's your arch. That's the ball of your foot. Toes are pointing up. So this is breaking to the upside. A lot of energy names are starting to get some attention with that breakout on crude. It's worth watching. I'm bullish above the 20. So the 20-day, I'm bullish above. CCJ, uranium stock, pretty much the same pattern without a nice leg. Honestly, you don't have much of a leg there, but a heel, arch, ball, toes are pointing up. Bullish. If this opens up above the 20 tomorrow, bullish on it for a move up to the 50. Then, we got to clear the 50 once we get to it. Doesn't mean you automatically got to sell, but got to clear the 50, when we get to it, the 50-day. Coke. So we were watching Coke from this flag down here. Nice push up, another nice push up. But you can see, if we did manage to put in a higher high here, and we were unable to put in a higher high, but it looks like it's trying to get a little bit of excitement back into it. So we may have some more upside to it. I thought it was going to break down last week, honestly, because we had this like little bear flag here, and it was able to push back up and regain the 9 and 20 on the daily. MACD could be trying to change character, not getting much help out of that right now, but it's definitely worth watching for a move up. So, but at this point, you can see we put in a lower low down here and it looked like it was bear flagging. So it looked like a good play, to pull back. And this is the exact reason why we, instead of just buying puts here like a lot of traders do, we need it to take the pattern out. We need it to breach the pattern and confirm, because that's not a bear flag now. It never confirmed. So now it's just a group of candles. BALE, another decent looking chart here above your 9 and 20. Looks like it wants to try to push up. Not, once again, not a lot of help in the MACD, but price action says this wants to move higher. I don't know how much more it would have into it. COP, another energy chart. MACD's crossing here. We're above the 9. Or Friday, we closed above the 9 and 20. This is worth watching for a move up to the 50. See where we open up tomorrow. If we can open up top, if let's just say the market doesn't gap down, it just, can make these plays a little difficult. But once again, you got your leg, heel, arch, ball breaking to the upside. So a lot of times, this pattern breaks to the upside. It can pull back as well, but this is just not quite your ordinary bear flag. A lot of times, it's kind of like a small double bottom. It's exactly what it is. It's kind of like just a small double bottom, and we're pushing to the upside here. So, and we can get a move up to the 50-day. Crocs, another nice chart. This one definitely need to check liquidity in. I know the options are terrible into it. But if you're buying shares, I mean, it is pushing up. We got a nice momentum candle, an inside day, and it is trying to push higher here. Your 9 and 20 is turned up, trying to follow price up as well. DLPN, so you have a rising 3 candle pattern down here right into your 9. Not crazy about that. You get these nice candle patterns and stuff, but they open up right into the 9. I wouldn't trade options on this small cap, just buy shares. FLR, another nice, had this small broadening wedge, broke out of that, basically putting in another broadening wedge, or you could call it a flag. Back above the 9 and 20 here. Not a lot of help out of the MACD, but this may try to push higher. GDX, this is a weekly chart. So we pushed up, gold and getting some recent attention, pushed up, flagging back into your 9. If you draw your line across the top of your candle bodies, we did close last week above that line. So we're running into your weekly 50, your weekly 200. So it definitely has some resistance, but it has a nice weekly MACD. Keep an eye on the daily chart, maybe able to get some more attention, get some, these gold stocks may be getting some more attention this week. HAL, Halliburton, trading in this little broadening. It's basically just a broadening wedge here. Looks good. The last 4 days, last week, looks really good. Nice momentum candle got us above the 9 and 20. Holding, easing higher, waiting on this 9 and 20. It's coming into resistance. I like it better if it is able to take this resistance level out. Just draw your line across the top of your candles. Like it better above that. MACD is trying to open up. You can see I already had a little pinch and trying to show us some momentum there. Definitely a chart that's worth watching. HIG, another nice chart. This is once again, you have to check your liquidity. Buying shares is a whole different story, but with options, I would definitely want to check the liquidity into it. You can see this move up here was on volume, so it seemed like it was getting ready to sell off and pushing up on volume. This is in your insurance sector as well. So right now we're holding above this trend line. You can see it's rough, but we're holding above that. You can see we got some wick to the downside, was able to close above the trend line. Friday trying to push. Need to see if this 9 and 20 will turn up. MACD looks like it could be possibly coming in for a cross. HON, this is a weekly chart. We've been seeing the same, this is the same setup we see all the time. Right down to the 1 minute charts. Nice push up. We lost the first candle, lost the 9, and then was able to retake it. So it closed back above the 9. So basically, this is breaking out of a weekly flag. This is another one that's worth watching. Got a decent weekly MACD on this one. These are some of the names they may be trying to come into some of these more value names. JXN trading in this little symmetrical triangle. It's got a nice coil in here. We have 3 touch points, 4 touch points on the bottom, several touch points up on the top. This is probably heading for a breakout. This can go either way. The way it looks right now, it's a little more to the bear side, struggling to get back above those moving averages, but definitely a chart to keep an eye on. If it was to, pull down, you could look for a short. If it was to break out and head north, calls. BEKE, a nice head and shoulders pattern here. This thing gapped up. So you got your head and shoulders here, basically high. You put in a higher high and broke down. And I actually like these better because you, on your right hand shoulder, you were unable to push up and even match this previous high. MACD's turned lower, below the 200 as well. Got your 50 down here. If we do break out, watch your 50 for support. A big gap down here. So if we lose these and this, if we lose this neckline here, we could look for a big move down. There's another head and shoulders pattern here I really want to concentrate on. KMB, another value name. This one has your cup and, basically your cup pattern. We're seeing a lot of cups falling apart right now. This one's still grinding higher, still above your 9 and 20. But your 9 is leveling out. We need to see what happens here. Can we push up and put in a higher high here? So this could be getting ready to break down. this chart is worth watching. We've seen a lot of other cups fail. You can see the highs. The highs unable. We match this low, come down, match this low, and so far been unable to put in another high. Seeing this 9 flatten out, uh, we could see a pullback. Watch it here off this support line, which basically is resistance, and that line's coming off here, and I'm pretty sure I got some touch points farther back in the past as well. KHC, Kraft Heinz, another value name, steady pushing up, low, high, low, high, low. Basic price action. Pension here wants to move higher. Don't, we're not getting a lot of help here with the MACD, but chart showing a ton of relative strength. Average volume, nothing special there, but showing a ton of relative strength, grinding higher. These kind of charts, they're slower moving, but they could be used for passive income. Lift has broke down below resistance here. Well, broke down below support, which is now resistance. Watch your 9 and 20 come down. I didn't realize that this chart was in here, to be honest. MRTX, this is just another contraction zone. We're tracking quite a few of these right now just to basically just to see how they're trading in this market environment. MACD's trying to cross here. Big gap down. Looks like maybe earnings or a bad news gap. Definitely something brought it down like that. But it's putting in, you can see we're trading right in the range of that candle right there and just bouncing around in that range. So see how we act there, how we break out. In NDAQ, this is the NASDAQ group. So you can see this is the inverted, or this is the head and shoulders I wanted to talk about. See how it's downward sloping? So head and shoulders patterns are just built on a simple series of basic price action. That's all it is. They're, I talk about this all the time. They flag up. So you got flag, you got your high, come down for a low, pushed up for a new high, coming down to put in a low, pushing up for a high. And this is where it's starting to roll over, because instead of pulling back to put in a higher low and to push up again, it breaks down, puts in a lower high. And I like these downward slopings better, because in this case, we can see right now that we pulled back even lower than the previous shoulder. So this armpit is very low. Anytime you have a head and shoulders like this, the entry, you don't even necessarily have to draw the line for the neckline. Your entry is below this armpit. So as soon as you can move below this armpit, you can look for a move down. This does not have options on it at all. I just wanted to show it was a good example of a head and shoulders pattern. This is a chart that I've swung many times. I swung this back before I started trading options. So it's just a chart that I've always kept an eye on. But you can it's just, the head and shoulders patterns, your basic price action is built out of flags. You flagged up, flagged back in, or you pushed up, you flagged in. So that's your high, that's your low, did it again. And this is when you started forming your pattern. So you got your high, pulling back for your low, you got a higher high, and this is where you start to break down your low, coming off your higher high, your low. In this case, a lot of times it's matching, but in this case, it comes down and puts in a lower low than this previous low. And I find that they seem to work better in this market. Uh, and that could easily change in a few months. These may be performing a lot worse than other head and shoulders patterns that we're tracking. So you can see here we're breaking down again. This is a low pushing up. So right now this is a bear flag. This is all a bear flag is. It's when you're putting in a low, and then you push up to put in a lower high, and then usually we would break lower. So just simple. These patterns are all built off simple basic price action. A lot of people overthink it, and it seems like a lot of people don't really understand just the basics of price action and how well you can you can make a lot of money just understanding basic price action. PBF, this got some bad news. I can't remember what the news was, but had a big sell coming down here, nice bounce off this 200, and it's been pushing back up. But right now we're back above the 9 and 20, and energy's getting attention again. So this is definitely worth watching. You're going to run into your 50 up here. I like it better above the 50, but there's room to make a little bit of money between here and the 50. So Philip Morris is, it's a strong stock. People don't really care when a recession's end. Cigarettes. They've always Cigarettes are one thing they say is recession proof. You can see we're trading in this nice little flag here, a little bull pennant. It's got a decent coil into it. Tested the top, come down here, laid right on the bottom. Is breaking up above the 9 and 20 here and breaking out of the pattern. Not on volume, but Friday market, we had low volume in the market itself, and could be that they may sell this tomorrow morning. We'll have to see. But MACD is not giving us much help right now, but it is breaking out of the pattern. It did close over the pattern, so see where we open tomorrow. PDD, a lot of these Chinese names are finally looking like they want to give us a pullback. You got a gap here. If it does, you got quite a bit of room to come down to it. You can see we have closed below the 9 and 20. uh, or Planet Fitness. So we got this nice cup here. Testing kind of got this multiple bottom here coming up. Kind of possible double top up here. But if we can take this out, I would look for a move up. I like the way the 9 is swooping up to try to follow price up. MACD's possibly changing character. This is a stock I've done very well on with shares, especially during COVID. It's just another one that I don't trade options on it, but I have watched it throughout the years. And I want to take a look at Planet Fitness's weekly chart as well. You can see we've been trading in this descending, broadening wedge here, and we've broken out of it to the upside. So we got a breakout there. It's right into a previous level of resistance that I've have drawn on here. Probably goes back in time, but we're testing that. If we can take this resistance level out, I would look for a move up. And our ROCC Ranger Oil, they kind of got their hands in just about everything energy from natural gas, just a little bit of everything, heating oil. So we got a nice breakout. You got a bottom ascending triangle down here. We're breaking out of to the upside. We closed over the 50. With all the storms coming in, utilities may be worth keeping an eye on. Task. This is not a textbook head and shoulders pattern, but you can see, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, but you can't draw a neckline on that with those candles popping down. I just wanted to point out, the only purpose for me even talking about this chart right now is just to point out that, as I say all the time, sometimes your most non-textbook stuff performs very well. So, let's not get too carried away with the textbooks, examples of everything, because you clearly shoulder, head, shoulder. You can't get a neckline on that. Clearly working to the downside. And I'm one that, during a bull market, it's hard to get a head and shoulders pattern to actually perform well. In this market, we're in a bear market. It's a whole different market for a whole different set of rules. They're performing very well. Well, that concludes this video. We'll have another video out tonight talking about the market and what we can possibly expect from the market. Hope everybody has a great day. And I'll see you in the trading room.